here we go. Let's see here. Okay, so now CHP, maybe they heard me saying that they about the suspect trying to potentially escape. They're making sure that that is not a possibility now. So even if the suspect were to try to throw in reverse, they're not going anywhere now. That is a guarantee for this van. But yeah, I mean, they were having trouble
right,
on the freeway controlling the vehicle.
Yeah, he's
totally
trapped right
now.
because
I mean, you're,
yeah,
yep.
the left side he can't get out
between the between the sound wall and the front bumper there of the CHP officer. But that was another scary moment where almost collided with some other vehicles out there on the southbound 710, and that probably plays into why CHP wants this, regardless of what's happening now with that kidnapping allegation. But it was, to answer your question originally, Chauncey, when he took off, and that was because we started asking, the airship, like, are you guys going to come after this guy? And they said, no, the victims changed their story, so we don't have anything on him. So it was, it's just kind of some weird timing there. And so maybe, maybe this suspect thought, okay, I'm out, I'm in the clear. But then the vehicle stopped, they got out, walking around. I know everyone that's on the westbound 91 wishes that CHP could have responded just a little bit sooner and taken that person into custody. Okay, look at this. I think we're going to be getting some movement here.
Okay, there's that ballistic shield. They've got 2 ballistic shields leading the way with 2 officers in the front. And it looks like officers stacked behind them. They're approaching the car now. Yeah,
we'll go ahead and double in here. So they've got themselves pretty protected with a couple of shields. Now they're going to come. Let's see what they do here. They're going to try to yank that blanket out.
Yeah.
And it was in the door jamb. And now let's see what they're going to do. They might have just put some gas in there. They may have just put some gas, some cold gas. I think I saw him insert something. That's what that would most likely be. And they're going to see how the suspect responds to that. So again, that CHP, I'm pretty sure that there's 2 types of gas. I was talking about it earlier, hot and cold gas. This would be cold gas, definitely the lesser of the 2, which is primarily a respiratory irritant as well as your eyes. So it's definitely painful, to your lungs and to your eyes, but not so much to your skin. So I'm pretty sure it sure looked like they inserted something there. But
yeah, it did. And now we see some more movement from the van.
Oh.
Yeah.
Looks like he's
and just kind of trying to kind of block off the window again.
We thought he might be pushing that stuff out. Yeah. We thought he might be pushing it out and maybe coming out, but it looks like he's further
covering it up.
Just covering the window. Yeah.
Well, if that was a gas canister, though, I feel like we would see some gas coming out, and we do not. So,
but I did see a gesture,
if
though.
That's what that was. Yeah, I did too.
It seems like something was thrown inside of the van. Can we re-roll?
Here they are again with their ballistic shields.
Approaching the window right here, and the officer to the left, you see right there.
He's going to start pulling on that sheet.
And then there we go. Right there. Something
is thrown in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't appear to be having any effect so far, as officers still wait for what's happening. We've seen officers move just in the past 10 minutes or so after, them standing there with their guns trained behind their patrol cars. But about 15 minutes ago, they brought in a canine and had that canine just chomping at the bit to get to this van and barking. And it looked like the suspect definitely heard that dog barking, covered the window further, reinforcing perhaps his protection from perhaps a canine now, and put some cardboard in addition to the blanket that we see hanging out of the window there. And then not too long after that, they took the canine and put it back into the patrol car that arrived in. So. That's when we saw, not too long after that, the officers huddling, and that's probably what they were huddling about. Let's bring out those ballistic shields.
Are they doing it again? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one may not have it probably didn't take. So now they're trying again, approaching the window.
If that's what that was,
right?
And but So if they did, right, we should have seen some gas coming out. So now they're yanking that cardboard out. They are tired of not being able to see inside. So they got the cardboard. They're gonna. He yanks the blanket back. Okay, now the boy. I mean, they are getting right up here. Now they're looking through the windshield. They've got a bunch of officers. This is an incredibly tense moment for this suspect when they have not had any eyes on what is going on in there. But now, here we go.
Here's the one.
Okay, now they're opening up the sliding door, and they are determined to get this guy
with all
and
the
just
officers.
yank him out.
Okay.
Yeah, coming in, and so now completely swarming the vehicle, but still can't get him out. Okay, are they yank? Okay.
Yep.
They finally got him.
Yeah,
okay,
he's on the ground. On the ground.
Got him on the ground, but it took a lot of officers though to get him out. So boy, kudos to CHP. A dangerous situation there, but I mean, it is not often that you see that, especially with a vehicle that you can't see that well into. But they surrounded him, and they are going to be taking him into handcuffs.
And this after, I mean, we've been covering this since the 6 o'clock hour, and I mean, more than an hour now, and it looks like this is finally coming to an end. Certainly kudos to those CHP officers who have been out there not only trying to bring this to an end, but also protecting the public and just making sure their own officers are safe. Again, we don't know a whole lot about the possible kidnapping allegation in all of this. It could be a true story, perhaps recanted by the alleged victim. So officers going and approaching this car obviously wanted to do so as aggressive as the CHP is. They wanted to go to that car with all the protection that they could. So you saw them bring in those ballistic shields and approach that car stacked behind each other and get that person out. On their second attempt is when they actually pulled that person out, and you saw all the officers surround that car in case that person came out of another door.
Yeah, certainly some dramatic moments that we watch unfold here, starting just after 6:30 this evening with the suspect getting on and off the freeway, and at one point getting out of the van, walking along the freeway, even seeing him smoke a cigarette. Then that's when CHP, they come in, do this pit maneuver and putting the van in the position it is now. We saw that one time they did go in as we thought they were going to approach. They got to the window and then suddenly retreated for whatever reason. Then we saw the K9 come out.
That's right, and they thought that, we thought that perhaps they retreated because Desmond was saying that they were perhaps acting erratically, and the officers saw that happening. So, and they don't know what's going to happen when they approach this car and they see someone acting in such a way. You know, is he armed? We didn't know at this point.
Right.
So.
And then that first attempt, as they went in with the shield to try to do something, we thought that we saw one of the officers gesture putting something in the car. And then not even 2 minutes later, we see them go in very aggressively and then pulling this suspect out of this van, getting him on the ground and arresting him. And this is where we end this right here, thankfully. And hopefully traffic will get back to moving here. So people can go on with their Friday night, Des.
Yeah, I mean, you know, some other agencies might let this have gone on for a very long time. And anytime something turns into a SWAT situation, it almost turns into like a minimum 3 or 4 hour ordeal. And while this still went on for quite some time, I think it went on for maybe 90 minutes total, which is definitely on the shorter side that these types of standoffs can go off. And the CHP, they you know, kudos to them for deciding we're going to handle this with the resources that we have. They didn't have to bring anything far-flung as far as Bearcats or anything from another agency. They made the determination that they could go up there safe enough with their ballistic shields and just overwhelming man and woman power, and come up and get the suspect in custody and on the ground. And you can see this person still writhing. They are not compliant. I mean, they have not gotten this person up on their feet yet. It looked like they just really do not want to go. So, you know, you wonder what this person's side of the story is. But the more they struggle, the worse they're just making it for themselves. Now it looks like we have the fire department that is here as well, just in case something happens. Maybe they want to evaluate this person and make sure that that they're okay, that they didn't injure themselves, or that they weren't injured while being taken into custody. So hopefully, we can clear all this out of here pretty soon and get this westbound 91 reopened sooner rather than later.
If you're just joining us here, this is an early edition of KCAL News at 8. A possible kidnapping suspect now under arrest, although we don't have many details about this alleged kidnapping or possible kidnapping. We had heard that there might be a kidnapping early on in this story when it first transpired and when we first started following a possible pursuit of a kidnapping suspect. It was a very short pursuit, if there was one. We do believe that there were spike strips that were deployed at some point, and that's why those tires on that van were slashed. And then, of course, the other technique of a pit maneuver was performed on the 91 freeway there and turned that car right around and into the K-rail that you see it trapping there. As we saw CHP officers, usually, as Desmond was talking about, CHP tends to be the most aggressive agencies, especially on the freeway, because they want to get the traffic moving again. And as Desmond was talking about, this has been going on for a good part of 90 minutes now. So as you can imagine, that traffic that has been diverted and also that had been in a standstill for a very long time tonight. A lot of frustrated drivers, but it looks like the CHP is now bringing this to an end as they go and clear that car after they put this person in the back of a patrol car. They'll go and make sure everything is all clear.